Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Wolf and I'm recording you just a quick welcome video for this fall for Psych 4430, which is psychopathology. Basically, I just want to give you a quick orientation to the course, let you actually see my face, give you a quick tour of our website and also of our syllabus, and answer some of those questions that students sometimes would ask if we, had a face-to-face meeting. Okay, so why don't we get started with a quick tour of the website. This is our course page. The top is always going to be a logo that tells you which class you're in. The Start Here button is going to take you to the first document in the orientation module, which I'll show you in a second. And then below that is the announcements. I'm fairly good about posting announcements anytime I do anything and posting a whole bunch of reminders. And then the announcements are on the left so that they should show up quicker when you're scrolling on a mobile device. Over here on the right is just some reminders about where you can find me. Those of you who've had me before, my office location has changed. I'm actually in the social science building now with a brand new office that I'm super excited about. But for this semester, my office hours are virtual because y'all are fully online, and you can find them every Monday. If that time does not work for you, do not worry. All you have to do is send me an email and we will totally schedule a time that does work for you. If you click content, you'll go to our orientation module. Orientation module, again, will just orient you to the course. So this course used to be called abnormal psych, and at lots of universities it's called abnormal psych. But the actual term for studying psychological disorders and mental health is psychopathology. And so we've actually changed the name of the course to psychopathology. If you see anywhere that I've called it abnormal psych, I apologize. I think I've caught everything. Just let me know if you find something that I've missed. But you can read these documents to get more acclimated with the course, who I am, and how the course is going to run. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see that there is a lockdown browser practice quiz that you'll need to take because we do have 3 exams. All 3 exams will require lockdown browser with the web camera monitoring. So you're going to take a practice quiz this week to show me that you do have that program installed and that you have a web camera ready. The quiz has questions, but they're not questions you have to prepare for. They're like, hey, have you read this? If so, click true. It's literally just to demonstrate that you have the program, and that way we can get any tech issues out of the way now when we don't have an exam, rather than having those problems right before an exam. At the end of this module is a checklist. In fact, every module will have a checklist. You need to complete the orientation module checklist to be able to access module 2. Students always seem to miss this one, so I'm just kind of highlighting again to all of y'all to remember to do that. The next module after that is essential documents. This is where you'll find things that are essential. So like our syllabus. The first thing in this module is actually going to be the welcome video, but I'm recording it right now and that's why you don't see it on the screen. I have the syllabus. I also have a separate course calendar. It's literally the course calendar that's from the syllabus. I just separate it out into another document because if anything's going to change, it's the course calendar, and that way you can download a new copy. We do not have an official textbook. This is a low-cost course, which means that I've found open access materials and readings for almost everything, but you do have one book that you do have to buy. It's this one here. It's the Waters text. It is linked there. It's an Amazon link. You don't have to buy it on Amazon. It's just so that you can see the cover and all of the details and stuff like that. I've been using this book for a while. This book also came out a while ago, right? So you should be able to find like a cheap used copy, something like that, right? So this is the only book you need, and again, it's like 15-ish bucks new, and you might be able to find something super cheap. You will also want to read over our one favor policy and the extra credit options, and then there is a syllabus quiz. You need to earn a 100% on the syllabus quiz. You have unlimited attempts to do that, but you can actually open the syllabus and the quiz in 2 separate tabs and take it at the same time. But you can have unlimited attempts, you just have to get that 100%. Also in this module will be our book club assignments when we get to them. The next module is our classroom module, and this is where all of the modules of the course will be. The only one that's open this week, this first week here, is module 1. To see module 1, you have to earn 100% on the syllabus quiz, so make sure you handle that as early this week as you can. And then the last module is about resources. I would bookmark KSYT because you're an online student and you never know when you're going to need them, but there's a whole bunch of other links here with lots of different resources that you might want and use. I will say a lot of our resources that are for students go underutilized, so check them out and see if there's anything that would help you. For now, let's just go ahead and pull up our syllabus and do a quick syllabus tour. So here's our syllabus. I am absolutely not going to read all of this to you. I just want to point out some high points. Again, you can find course information about me, including, again, a reminder about those office hours. Just a note, I don't have an office phone anymore, so the best way to contact me is always going to be through email and stuff about our course description. I would want you to read this little note here. There's a mathematical calculation about how many hours a 3 credit hour course is actually worth, like actual like hours of work, and it's a lot. And this class has plenty of reading, right? I just want to make sure that you look at your course load, that you're giving a thought to how you're structuring not only the load you're taking, but your other responsibilities, and setting yourself up for the best semester that you can have. And so just to give some thought to that. You can also read through our learning outcomes and our course materials. Like I mentioned, there's just one textbook that you have to purchase, which is that Waters text, and everything else will be provided for you. You do need, of course, a computer capable of running all of our software, because this is a fully online class, and you do need a camera and a microphone, not only because all of our exams are through Lockdown Browser, but also because you might want to talk to me during office hours. While this course is a fully online asynchronous course, it does have an actual calendar and does not work at your own pace, so things will be opening on a schedule and have weekly due dates. So just make sure that you check that out. I'm a big fan of actually like printing the calendar and then adding little check boxes to things as they come due, so that I can keep up with that. You could absolutely do that in a more digital format by adding them digitally to the course calendar. Whatever are the tools that you've already kind of developed to manage that. You can put things in your phone as calendar reminders, all of that kind of stuff. There's lots of apps to help you do that. Just make sure that you are, again, keeping up with that schedule, setting yourselves reminders to actually log in and do the work, because sometimes what happens with fully online classes is it's easy just to kind of ignore it, and it kind of disappears because there's not set meeting times. You can read through our course policies. So the first one there is just about conduct, and that's because we're going to study psychopathology, and that affects people. And some of those people may be in the room, or maybe people who matter a lot to you. So it's very important that we are respectful of our classmates, because you don't know whether or not your classmate has one of the conditions that we're going to be talking about, or has loved ones who does. So the real key with that is feel free to send me any questions that you have, no matter what. I would love your questions. I don't want to discourage any questions, but you can always send them to me rather than asking them open to the entire class. And that when you type things that the whole class is going to read, just remember to give it another skim to make sure that it's from a respectful lens. Again, you can read through our other policies. The new one here is that AI use is prohibited. You can read what I've written here, but the real key is that you cannot create or collaborate with AI programs like ChatGPT and the like, and submit that work as if it's your own, just like you couldn't collaborate with a classmate or another student and have them do your work for you. That is inappropriate collaboration. It doesn't matter whether or not it's a human or a robot. And so let's try to get through this semester without anybody having a cheating case against them. There's also some extra credit, and you can read about that in the Essential Documents module. So let's get to what I'm going to grade, because that's usually what people really care more about. Again, there's a syllabus quiz. You have to earn 100%. You have as many attempts as you need to get that. But this is a gateway assignment, meaning that you have to do that to be able to access the modules. I'm not going to reopen modules or assignments that you missed because you didn't take the syllabus quiz. So you need to do that as soon as possible. There's also a pre and a post test. I use these to track how much you learn over the semester. You're not graded for having the right or wrong answer, especially not on the pre-test. You just need to make sure that you take it by the due date. There's a couple other setup assignments, like an email assignment, lockdown browser practice. I use these in lots of my classes. There's more information about the email assignment in Module 1 and more about the lockdown browser practice quiz, which I already mentioned in the orientation module. There's also a couple of graded discussion posts. The first one is you're going to introduce yourself to me and the class, and then reply to some of your classmates. The requirements for that discussion post are written on the discussion forum, so you can check those out. There's already a post from me as well, so you can get to know me a little bit better too. I'll also be signing you to group. I'll talk more about those in a second, but once I do that, you'll also introduce yourself to your group, and then we have 2 discussion posts, one after the first exam and one after the second exam, where you are going to start working on creating your own definition of mental health and identifying things that are signs of mental health, and there'll be more information about that when we get to them. There are 3 exams. All 3 of them are through Lockdown Browser, like I mentioned. I'll give you way more information about the exams when we actually get to them, but just to answer some quick questions. All of them are going to be open for at least 2 whole days. Yes, you get a study guide. Yes, I host virtual study sessions before the exam so that we can talk about things and you can answer questions. If you have any questions now, you can always send them to me, but like I said, you'll have way more information about the exams when it actually comes time for them. We also have quizzes. There's 13 of them, and they're kind of like reading checks. They are considered open book, but not collaborative. You also have 2 attempts for the quizzes, and it will show you what you get wrong after the first one. So conceivably, if you plan your life well, you should be able to make 100% on each of the quizzes. However, because they're open for several days and you get the 2 attempts, there are no makeups. We also have what I call my going further assignments, and these are assignments where in certain modules, there are assignments so that you can dig deeper into some of the content. There are 4 of them, but only 3 of them count towards your final grade, so you get to drop one. And then there are our book club assignments. So this is the part that's a group assignment. Basically, when you do your intro discussion post, you're going to tell me, I think, you know, what your career goals are. I'm going to try to organize you by career goal, major, that sort of thing. And then each group, you know, however members you have, when we go through this book, like let's say for chapter 1, there's going to be a chapter 1 reading assignment that's going to be like a worksheet that's going to have several questions on it about the chapter, and then you're going to discuss it with your group and answer it. This helps you kind of delve into this book, have some other people to talk about your thoughts, the reading, all of that kind of stuff, so that you can really absorb this information. There are 4 chapters, so there are 4 assignments, and so that's the book club. Again, there's more information in the syllabus, and of course there'll be more information as we get to those assignments. And lastly, in our last week, there is a coping skills module where there will be 2 major assignments, one a reflection assignment, and then also a discussion assignment. The last thing that's part of your grade is there is a language penalty. So one of the main themes of this course is that we are going to examine the role of stigma and mental health. To that point, these 2 words here are now penalty words. Every time you use either of those 2 words in any kind of class, assignment, activity, discussion post, or whatever, or in the study sessions, you will have a half a point removed from your final grade total. The reason for this is because if you make something important enough, people will pay attention. Those 2 words actively contribute to the stigma that's around mental health. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is think about what synonyms do not come from a place of stigma. You get points off basically after the first week if you use them. After the first 2 modules, if you catch me doing it, the whole class gets bonus points. The exception to this, if you're actually referring to this book, right? Because this book is Crazy Like Us, and that's the title. So the exception is if you're referring to the title of this book. Most of the time when people use those words, what they actually mean are things like chaotic, ridiculous, unfathomable, unpredictable, amazing, horrifying, or something I just don't understand. And so I encourage you to use those words through the course of the semester. I've been doing this ever since I started teaching psychopathology. I do it with my undergrads and back when I taught graduate students. And to be honest, I think I've only ever caught a handful of students ever, and I've only ever caught one person twice. Because again, when you make something important enough, people will actually change. After that, you can see that all of our points add up to 100 to make the math easy on you. You can see what that equates to as far as letter grades and if and when I round. You can then read the rest of the college policies, institutional policies, resources, all of that kind of stuff. And then the last several pages, like I mentioned, is our course calendar. So the module that's currently open is Module 1. Again, you have to have 100% of the syllabus quiz to see it. The module starts with an introduction. In fact, every module will start with an introduction, and that's a great way to get oriented to what we're going to do and why it matters. So make sure that you don't skip them. You can see that the other things that we're grading in that first module are all here, including a couple of lessons that you'll need to take. While there's not a quiz in this module, that information will probably show up on your first actual quiz and on the exam. There's an evaluation survey so you can tell me how you're feeling about the course, and a checklist. Again, every module will have a checklist to help us all stay on track. So that's the tour. Basically, I want you to know that even though this is a fully online class, I am absolutely here and I'm excited to answer your questions. I love this content. This is some of my favorite content to teach. I've tried to make it a really rich course, but it's still an asynchronous course. But I'm absolutely behind the screen, and I would love to talk to you about anything that you have questions about or things that you're just curious about. So as you're reading, if you have questions, if you have things that are curious, anything where you would normally raise your hand in class, just go ahead and send them to me. You can email me, you can post them to the FAQ board, and like I said, I'm just really happy to talk about any of this content in depth more with you, all right? I'm also absolutely here if you get lost, get confused, or need any kind of help, okay? Now I want to keep this video pretty short because as we all know, shorter videos actually get watched. So I'm going to go ahead and end now. But like I said, if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me. And other than that, I'll see you online.